jobs and overall economic impact. I don't know the answer to that, but the point is that you can start to really look at this. And again, if you're considering an area that the city should grow into, it's something to take into consideration rather than looking at that in isolation. It really should be looked at in terms of the big picture and all the potential for growth in different areas and the economic development that might accompany that. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer those, or Jim or Tim could. If not,
Hey, Mike?
Yes.
I'm sorry about this. I can't raise my hand. I'm on the phone. But unfortunately, I'm a little bit at a disadvantage. I don't have the slides or the cost sheets that you handed out in the chambers. Is there any possibility I could get a copy of those?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, can you put the map back up that shows the 6 areas outlined?
The 6 areas together?
Yes.
Everything together?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So I guess one of the questions that I have, and I don't know if this might be for Jim or Tim, but if I look at areas 1 and 3, there seems to be, I mean, well, actually all of these, except for 5 and 6, which kind of stand by themselves, but all of these are adjacent at some point. So are all of the costs that were provided unique for that parcel, or are there any benefits, like if we do step for 1, does it reduce some of the costs for 3?
I would say that some of that's complicated. I would say that in terms of the costs, in general, the arterial costs are probably, it's fairly simple the way it's been laid out. It's just $1 million per lane mile. With the sewer, it's more dependent on topography. And if you want Jim or Tim to answer those questions, they probably can. I don't know.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out if there's, I mean, do the costs start going down as if we would decide to start moving through some of these improvements in some of these areas?
Not for the roads.
As far as the sewer and water are concerned, no, it really wouldn't help one way or the other.
Okay.
Area 1 and 3 particularly, we have water pretty well available, not too far away. Like in Area 1, 260,000, that's a half mile of water line. There is some other water line that would have to be extended from rural water 7, and for Area 1, they're already right there by it. On the southeast side of 35, most of the area over there is served by rural water 7, and they don't have hardly any lines over there. So it would be difficult and somewhat expensive to get over there, but it would probably be the developer's cost unless it's prohibited, in which case somebody would need to help them, whether it be us or Water 7. Yeah, so it's hard to say, but they don't seem to, from the water and sewer point anyway, don't seem to complement each other and
Okay.
make anything less expensive.
Okay, thanks.
Jim, hang on a second. Now, if I recall correctly, and I'm not going to try and go through all the slides again, but the area in red, number 1, we were talking about.
Want the larger one, Mayor, or the smaller one?
No, I wanted the one with the 6 different. This one. That'd be great. I see the cost of sewer to do that Area 1, the Waverly Road area, was $3 million, but the cost was, I'm guessing, negligible above 191st Street?
Correct. Yeah, there's one sewer line would have to be put in there to go from 191st Street and at the Waverly lift station that's being built, to go from there due north to get to the big industrial area.
Okay.
Other than that, the sewer that's being built now will serve almost all of the rest of the area.
So just out of curiosity, you drop below 191st Street, what incurs all the additional $3 million worth of?
A lift station that would then have to go all the way up to Bull Creek, unless we can make an agreement with Edgerton. If we have an annexation agreement together, we might possibly be able to take the sewage from that area to their plant now, since there's one, right there available now. But it's already sized for certain areas, and don't know whether that's, totally workable or not. Should be, but we have to be negotiated
But
too.
we're not counting on it.
Not counting on it.
But reasonable heads prevailing,
Yes.
that cost would be a lot less.
Would be a lot less, yes.
I have a question about the roads, the cost of roads per acre. What drives that? Just fewer roads on areas 3 and 4, or?
Yeah, I think that's the simple answer. I mean, if you look at, it's gone now, Area 1, for instance, and again, all we looked at was arterials. Area 1, that area basically has no existing paved arterials, whereas Area 3, most of the arterials in that section already happen to be paved.
And these costs just account for paving, nothing, no heavy haul, none of that, okay. So it's just basic.
Right, and then if an arterial landed on the borderline, I assume there would be a 50-50 split with whoever the neighbor might happen to be.
Mike, when you're talking about light industrial or retail, where does, like, commercial office space, doctors, dentists, CPAs, things like that, where do they fit into the mix in, like, growth area 2 or 3?
Look at that. Excuse me. That thought occurred to me as I was putting this together, and I think when it comes to office space in a city like Gardner, it's hard for me to understand what the demand for large-scale office is.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be more likely services like medical services on a small scale. Those tend to locate in adjacent or in residential neighborhoods. In this case, I think they would not be in a residential neighborhood. I'm thinking of a larger community, but those would probably be something that would result from other uses. So you're probably not going to get medical offices in an area that's industrial. You're probably more likely to get that in an area that's adjacent to retail or adjacent to residential. And I think if you look at where those might locate, I'm very much speculating, but I would say probably in the areas north of 56, or north of the railroad tracks, or maybe along in the area around Gardner Road interchange, just because they're more accessible to residential. If you're talking a larger medical facility with offices, or major office building for employer, I think that's a little more difficult, just because that's the demand for something like that is kind of like this. You might get an opportunity like this once every 10 years. It's not driven necessarily by the other growth factors. Then again, this is something that we'd have to really think about, and hence the need for a discussion about economic opportunities, whether that's an opportunity or not.
Anybody else have any questions? Well, I know we've got guests that have information that they'd like to present. So without any further questions, look forward to inviting you all to the podium.
Thank you.
She's still bringing it up, and you use the right cursor.
Okay.
Right arrow.
Great.
Good evening. My name is Todd Menden. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Big Industrial. We're based in Prairie Village, Kansas. Appreciate the opportunity to come and visit tonight. I'm going to let Tracy put some slides up and tell you a little bit about his firm. Just a little background on Big Industrial. We are primarily a redeveloper and developer of industrial space around the country.